Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Monday night Plastic Crack Podcast, Season 5, Episode 3. And I just had a big brain fart, which is why we're running a little bit behind as I tried to work out how to start the stream again.
You might have got away with it. You never know. And then
I might have done. As you can see, we are a man down, and this is we should probably expect this. Bless him. The time is nearing him where he is going to become a father, and he has other things to attend to. So we send him all the best. He did tell us to say hello.
Flashes of lightning and things happening in the skies when the baby arrives.
I just imagine lots of potholes opening for him to fall down.
all to the tune of the music from The Omen.
That's what I have visuals of.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Do you know what? The end times. That's what it's called in Warhammer, wasn't it? The end times.
The end times.
You see a twin tail comet in the sky, and I don't know. Everyone looks above the skies of Southampton, and just see. Right. Anyway,
sorry.
Well, it is brother Ken. It is brother Ken.
Brother Ken. Exactly.
It is. Anyway, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time to join us. So tonight, we're looking at the topic of how practical is realism in wargaming, and we'll chat about this. And it's not meant to be like an argument, although that's always fun. It's just we talk when we look at the pictures each week. People are striving for uniform colors or to get their buildings just right, but when it actually comes to the game, how practical is it? Not is it should you do it or not, but just how practical is it? This might have been sort of come around through some of my comment sections over the last couple of videos. So we shall see. But anyway, we'll come on to that in time. Of course, we are sponsored by the lovely folks over at Boards and Swords in Derby. So remember, if you go over there and you purchase something from their vast array of goods. Vast. If you use the code PCP5, we need to ask him if he wants to change that. Then you will get an additional 5% off at the checkout when you do. And also, stay tuned for details later on the first giveaway for 2024, which is very, very cool. So stay tuned. We'll have that in the news. Other than that, hello. Are you guys all right? How's your week been?
Good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
It's only Monday, isn't it? For goodness sake. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's been good.
I meant the week after the last one. It's kind of like we start the week, don't we, with the PCP, and then can it get any worse?
I know everyone I spoke to kept saying, "Oh, January's going really quickly," and I thought, no, it isn't. It's going really slowly. January just seems to take forever. So that was all I felt about last week. Just take forever. Get on with it.
It's still not over. It's still not over.
I know, it's still a couple of days. Jeez. But no, it's all good. All good. Been busy.
Good. Right. So let's say hello to a few people. So first in chat, we got Benjamin, Leslie. How you doing? Sachiel, how you doing? Lionheart, Hammond Jam, Red Steph, Rich, Basement 1908, John, David, Craig, Paul's Paint Shed. Hello, everyone from a warm and slightly damp Mercia. Working on a scumbag samurai bandits tonight. I don't think
I love our Mercian updates.
I know.
I do. I feel lost without it.
It's a regular feature these days, isn't it?
I think he just needs to write one for us for each week, like it's the shipping forecast. Let's just write one in.
Have you ever listened to the shipping forecast?
Yes, every time I go to Newcastle and I'm with my in-laws, I have to listen to it because they all have boats, and even though they don't go out their boats anymore, it's tradition that you have to listen to it.
It's like a different language, isn't it?
It's the bit about Dogger that gets me worried. There you go.
You're on the wrong station there, Dom.
Well, I don't know. We'll see some of the names that the people have got in here. Nigel, East Norfolk's Carl Burks, Gwindor, how you doing? Rogue Trooper, Pat Neal, Nick Games. I tell you what, I'm going to start that comment for later on. Remember, if you've got comments on realism and all that kind of stuff in games, just whack them up and we will come to them. Don Bickersey, evening all. Hope you're well. Going to be working on getting models assembled. Another glorious day in the core. Yes, I did see that you succumbed to buy. Now, what can we get him to buy? What can we get him to buy tonight? I've got some ideas. Crusade, how you doing? Mobile Hostile. Nice one, Andrew JF. The eccentric man, David View, Graham's Wargame Vault. How you doing? You painted 100-Year War Scots.
Why are you bothering, Graham? They always lose. He does. He was moaning down the club last week. He said, "I can't win a sausage with these Scots."
So I meant to
more.
I watched. I had a great time. I watched the Hail Caesar game, but at the end of Allen, it was wicked. But Graham just did himself over twice. He did himself over, and I was screaming at my phone, going, "No, you've won! You've won!" But it was a cracking game. It was the brutality, but that's why we play it. Rev Reg, Little Legions, Rogue Trooper, Tabletop Sagas. How you doing? Oh, hello, Matt. I didn't is that Matt? Tabletop Sagas, or is that Tabletop Saga? I'm confused. Unless there's lots of people with the same name. Mortzik, Miller's Miniatures. How you doing? Bite Size Wargaming. How you doing, Simon? Friends of General Haig. Double Dip. That's the name I was waiting. I was waiting to see. I didn't want to preempt it. History and Dice. Crow Kinesi. How you doing? Steve Harbour. Guess what? More Bavarians. Mini Agnostic, Marky Sparky, Dutch Army Painter. Hello from the Low Countries. You're still working on Billman, dotting the Brigandines. Is it just a one dot Brigandine, or is it a triple rivet for everyone? Because if you buy a Ragged Staff miniature, it's a triple rivet. Now who's a button counter? Jack Todd, David Benton, Shaco's. Hello, James. How you doing? Martin Ho. Guys, all the of you tonight. Cardboard Fortress, Tragianic. Dave. Rob and Rose Hobden, Duke Wellington, John Clarkey, Paul Crouch, Nathan Fishwick. I'm going to go Stefan Flankmarch. Is that right? Did I read that? Yes, I did. Stefan Flankmarch. Oh, this person's got a name. Hang on. Games Club, Tabletop, Hobby and Tabletop Games. Hello. How you doing? Go for it, Painting. Trevor Hodgkin, 999 Pain. How you doing, Grant? Yorkshire Dragoon, Red Steph. I think I did you already. Benjamin, Bite Size, and we're down to the bottom. Shrink 7. There we go. Right. Oof. Thank you. Remember, if you're watching on the catch-up, we love you as well. Thank you very much for sitting through all that, as I remembered to do it. Right then. All right, I'm tired now. It's time for
you sound out of breath.
You peaked.
I am out of breath. Yeah. I'll tell you what I accidentally did. I was gloss varnishing some models earlier, and I forgot that gloss varnish tends to come out in a bit of a denser spray. And so I kind of stupidly, instead of just moving my hand further with the spray can like closer to the model, I moved the model closer to my face, and so I just like breathed in a big gust of it. So it's all in I had to have a shave because it was all like the ends of my beard, little like glistening like in the morning dew. Anyway, so
it's not harmful guys, at all, so don't worry. It's fine.
If you would like to like us, because like the stream, if you like us as well, that's equally good.
Hey, Steve, I think we're in trouble. That varnish has definitely gone to his brain tonight, hasn't it?
Are you sure it was varnish? It wasn't something Breaking Bad-esque.
Well, it was. It was this AK Interactive varnish that comes with like multiple nozzles. So I tried using this nozzle, and it came out like a watering can rose.
When it says interactive, they don't mean that interactive.
I wanted to feel like one of my models. Yeah. And anyway, so it's been a busy old week. Let's see now. I know that Dom has done things because I know at least 2 of the things he's done, and they look awesome. So I think we should go to Dom first.
Oh, blimey. Hang on, can put that down. Yeah, I've been busy, actually. It's been good. I've been good to get the paint back out again. So, bloody, blimey, we've got enough pictures on here, haven't we?
That's why they all deleted themselves.
They did. There's so many. So this is your fault entirely. So this is some Test of Honors.
Yeah. Can I just say, they are beautiful. They are, and I don't. This isn't by any means like I don't mean to sound patronising or anything like that. They are some of the best miniatures I think you've done. Yeah. That horse dude is amazing.
Do you know? I thank you. First of all, I did actually spend a fair amount of time on them, and I was very, very satisfied with them by the end. Given they were samurai, and of course, I'm never going to do samurai again.
No, never.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed doing them. They jumped right to the front of the queue one evening. I thought, right, I'm going to do them. That's what I did.
It's the whole stuff. Is the banner actually? Is that actually say anything, or is that just scroll?
I just tried to sort of roughly copy what was written on the box art with
That's a
a
good
Sharpie.
plan. Why didn't I do that? That's a really good plan. No,
Yeah, that's all that was.
they look cracking. I mean, what I love there is you've got the musketman, who's a pain in the ass. You've got a mounted guy who, if you watch the battle report I did, is a pain in the ass. And the banner guy lets everybody sort of recover really quickly, which is also so they're lovely. Oh,
And then
look at them.
and these dudes as well go with them. So best nipples in the East. There you go. Yeah, they were fun as well.
Oh,
I enjoyed doing
love them.
those. They were good. And I actually haven't been doing it very often, but I just recently I've been doing a lot of your Zenithal. So I've been using the old Zenithal. It does work quite well with these sort of figures, doesn't it?
Well,
and then
it
I've
does,
no
it
idea
does.
whether these are any good, but I did these just to go along.
That's filthy. Right. So you've got one. You've now got two heroes. So the guy on the horse, well, it doesn't have to be. Could be your leader, and this can be like the guy in the middle can be your sort of second, or you can have it the other way around.
Yeah.
The musketmen as a group are brutal, as you could probably imagine, and everyone needs spearmen. So no, that's
well, the Sohei
Wotsits
Wotsits have something to do with if one of their men dies, they get really angry or something. So I thought that was quite a fun rule. But other than that, I don't really know what they do.
That sounds good. Oh no, just see. So Little Legion's had a good start to it. Got soaked and then crashed his van. Oh, dude.
Oof.
I hope everything's all right.
Well, I hope you're all right. The van's obviously not, but there you go.
No, we're going to crash this podcast probably tonight, so you know
we usually do. It's usually a road crash.
But no, hope everything's all right, dude.
Brilliant. What else? I got on with the Colonial stuff or the Indian Mutiny, so I thought I'd do some cavalry. So
nice.
That is
very nice.
Bengal light cavalry, I believe. A very blue uniform they had. They look a bit brighter than they do for real under the lights there, but they came out all right. Face is a bit weird, but that's more the models than my painting, I think. I probably didn't help that. And then I got my half a unit done of Madras Fusiliers for the Indian Mutiny as well. So I can't help thinking these are sort of hats you'd see in a band from Manchester in the 90s, but that's apparently what they wore, these sort of blue hats. So and then they had sort of company of light riflemen incorporated into a number of the Indian regiments. So I thought that'd be fun. So I've got another 12 of those to do, and that'll be that unit done.
Very, very
good.
Cool.
And then the Big Mother, I was struggling with this all the last stream, but I finally managed to get it all together and managed to finish off the Star Fort for Pike and
that
Shot.
is cracking. And can I just say on this as well, the base work on that, like the ground cover and the flock and that is just awesome.
It came out really, really well, thank you. I didn't really have a master plan with it, and I thought, well, I can't. All the elements come separately, and I thought, well, I need it all to be joined together and stuck down because otherwise it's going to be a nightmare. So I just got some art card and just sort of stuck it down on that. Well, in fact, there's 4 lots of art cards stuck down together, and then just got like Geek Gaming basing material and various other rubbish that's in my pots of basing material like we all have these days, and just glued it down, and then just sprayed it from a distance with a brown spray and then a bit of green in various places, and then just varnished it, the whole thing. Cool. And it works really well. So just go for the So I'm quite pleased with that.
They're off to a roaring start in 2024.
So there you go. I've now just got to work out a battle to feature that in. So it's sitting up there on the table behind me, and I'm thinking, that needs to.
I'm sure you'll think of something.
It's going to happen.
I'm sure you'll get one in there
very soon. So there you go. That's what I've been up to.
Excellent, Steve, dude. How's your week been? Productive?
Yeah, I'm back on painting Epic ACW. Binging my painting. This is all I worked on last week, so I hadn't actually worked on any Epic ACW for a year. I did a video about it last February, and then, like I say, real life got in the way last year. I didn't paint for like 2 months. And so I just went back to them. I thought, let's see if I can remember how to paint them. And I actually finished 2 regiments in a week, which is very much unlike me.
Very good.
So there we go.
Awesome, mate.
Lovely.
I love them.
So they are the 5th Maine Volunteers, I think, and the 14th New York Militia Zouaves. And I can't believe I painted them as quickly as I did.
They're lovely.
Yeah, just it's one of those. It's really weird. I didn't sit down and paint them. I did them between other things.
Yeah,
that's sometimes because you start to build them up and crank them out very quickly when you do stuff that way.
Yeah, and so I just had them on the desk, and I was doing bits and pieces. Even at work on my break, 10 minutes, I'd do a couple of hats, and it all builds up over the course of the week, and that's what I've done. So I've flown through them. So there's the I did. I painted the drummers. I painted in fact I've painted 3 drummers because I finished. I've started work on the Confederate units. So I painted the drummer last night. These are going to be a Louisiana regiment.
Really?
And I can't stop painting them. I've got cheers, Craig. It's weird. The painting is. I thought I was going to forget how to paint them, but for me, I guess I said in my video last year. For me, it's all about the wash and the highlights. That's it. You don't go for every detail on every single figure. As long as as long as they've got sharp highlights and bright basing as well, that seems to help.
I think you'd go doolally if you went too detailed on those things.
Oh, you would. You'd go completely mad.
Paul's going to be watching this on the replay.
Well, he's doolally, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah. That's what I want to. So I'm working on another 3. I found 3 to 5 strips is the sweet spot for me now. That's I can comfortably paint between 3 and 5. I've got the techniques down to where I can do them quite quickly. I'm even working on my first command base, and I've got Ulysses S. Grant here.
Yes, you picked up the command. Very impressed with them. Really, really nice little resin figures. Got the horses, making quite a big command base. I'm also rewatching Ken Burns' The Civil War because it's one of the greatest programs ever made. So all things this week or the past week, I've just been epic ACW. So I'm quite close to having 2 finished brigades, which is what I want to do, so I can start sort of playing really, really small games. But I'm quite chuffed with how fast I got through them, because I used to paint them really slowly. But yeah, that's all I've done. It's been it's all I'm going to do all week as well. Just continue painting these. It's a bit of an obsession at the moment. Like Dom, you got with your pike and shot. I just cannot stop painting them because. But when you get into a flow like that with a project, you don't want to lose it, do you? You don't want to suddenly just put it down. It's the same with the ghouls. And I was painting those. I've knocked out 4 war bands of them, and I'm not going to say that they're the best quality, but I was enjoying it. And it was just it's fun looking how it gives him cold shivers.
With these though, it's I find them really relaxing to paint because there's no building, so you'd have to. I mean, apart from the cannons, but they're 3 pieces. Yeah. So there's no construction. There's very, very little cleanup on them. They're just relaxing to paint. I just find them dead therapeutic. Like on Saturday afternoon, I just put on a bit of music, a bit of coffee, and I just painted about 3 or 4 hours. Just
have you listened to Iced Earth's Gettysburg trilogy?
No, I don't like Iced Earth.
I mean, to be fair, it's good, but that's 3 good songs. It only lasts 45 minutes.
Is it all?
Yeah, that's all. Well, that answered that question.
So that's what I've been up to. I'm building my first command base, and I'm hoping to. But I've set myself the end of February. I want to paint, try and finish as much as I've got, because I've got the. I can't remember the name of the box now. It's something in Guts and Glory. I've got the Guts and Glory box.
Yep. That was a new one, wasn't it? The starters, was that?
Yeah, that's one with the Zouaves in. Yeah, And I've still got the sprues that Warlord sent me. God, 3 years ago now. 3 years.
Are you gonna message him and say, "Look, I've done them"?
No. I'm just like I said, I'm just really enjoying it, and I've set myself like the end of February. I want to have as much of that lot painted and scenery as well. We're working on some scenery, but yeah, very very much in the ACW mode at the moment.
Okay.
And on Sunday, if anyone's at Varnish in York, I should be wandering around there with human beings.
Blimey.
I know. So, yeah, if you come and say hello if you see me. It'd be nice to say. I know.
It's all weird. We're not even out of January yet. You're just you're already blitzing the painting. He's offering to meet people. I don't know what's happened.
What's going on, really, with the world?
Ken's multiplied. What's going on?
I mean, that's the most frightening thing.
That sounds so clinical, doesn't it? Ken multiplied.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, or just sort of like split. What you like a cell just splits into it. There's two of it. There's just two of them. Oh dear.
What have you been up to then, Martin? Come on.
So my week was slightly odd about sport. So I'm still working on the Romans. So I'm working on the last Roman unit at the moment, which has Titus Pillow and Lucius Vorenus in it. And I painted them a fair bit, decided I didn't like what I was doing, and started again on just those two models. But in the meantime, I basically thought, I've got to get on with the main man himself. So I'm working on Caesar. I'm taking my time on him. So, but I got distracted because young Robin and I had a game. Which was the next one in the. I can't even remember if I told you guys. I know I normally send you a photo going, haha, look, I'm not at work. So we played the next game in our First Crusade campaign, which included the sort of conclusion of the first strategy turn and rolling for sort of some sort of game effects and that, and then moving on to a new map and sort of placing our armies again. So the next video, there'll be like a 15-20 minute segment of that at the start, which you can skip if you want to, but you can watch how badly I roll as normal. I don't want to spoil it. It was a very strange game because the mission we played was a meeting engagement as described in the Hail Caesar rulebook with a couple of other bits tagged on for us. And I would say the first half of the game is mostly just maneuvering because both armies are getting onto the battlefield trying to trying to form their lines. I'm doing the thing that the Saracens do by riding around and shooting arrows at him, and then so Robin, I took this photo and Robin's men marched onto the board. So got behind him. So as the big clump of Crusaders came on, so you get a good idea of sort of how dense things were. We have everything. We have cavalry clashes very very early in the game, and then it's not really spoiling anything, but I think it was about 2/3 of the way through. We just looked at the battle, and I've never seen in one of our games a battle line basically snaking the whole table. And it was just quite cool. So here's just a little clip of it as they sort of advance towards each other, and everyone's like, no one's failing any orders here. They're all getting into position. We're all hurling things. So you've got all these combats. You've got units supporting cavalry. You've got a fight over a vineyard in the background over there. The camels are coming forward, and it went the entire sort of 6-7 foot of the board.
Nice.
So it just looked really cool, but the battle was really interesting because like I say, there was loads of maneuvering at the start. And I was getting a bit worried. Going, are we actually going to have a combat? And don't worry, we did. Oh, we did. So that'll be coming out.
Oh, look forward to seeing that one. When's that out?
I'm hoping it'll be out later in the week if I get a wriggle on. But I then decided to have a little break from the Romans because I'm obviously I said I was working on some Space Marines and stuff. So I'm working on 4 more World Eaters, which I've been enjoying. And I think I sent you guys this. I'm using it as an excuse to practice on my faces. Now, those of you who like GW stuff know that the World Eaters are meant to be barbarians. They're meant to be psychos essentially with nails in their heads that make them go mental. My interpretation of this is a strung out dad that's not had any sleep because his kids are ill, And so here you go. This is what. So there's an example of one of the heads I've been working on, and I'm really enjoying working on them. Just like working on sort of my techniques of doing the heads and getting the layers in and the washes. And because AK sent me their new washes to try out, I've been really over the last sort of 6 weeks been trying them out in lots of different ways. So yeah, they were a lot of fun to do. So I'm just working on finishing the next 4 of those, and hopefully that'll be my entry for the OPC as well. So yeah, it's been I would say it's been busy, but it's
well, you did say last week that you're planning to do more painting and practice your techniques and things, so you're off to a good start.
Yeah, exactly. It's I like that. They've all said that's Ken. Yeah, absolutely. That is 100%, and we're all here for it as well. We can't wait. We can't wait. But no, so that's all been good, and of course, just keeping up to date with what people have been doing in the group. So, so tonight's topic of how practical is realism in wargaming, as I said, prompted by and inspired by a few comments that have been left over my videos over the last sort of few weeks. I guess it was kind of me just looking at things and saying, okay, that's great that woad should be that particular shade, but does it have any practical effect on wargaming? But also that then I was talking to Robin and talking to some of the others and these guys, I was thinking about, well, scenery as well. How practical is it to have La Haye-Saint to scale looking like that? Because we all strive for nice looking tables, and some of us are happier to play on, you know, a bit of felt and some books under a cloth than others. So I was just my take on this was just how practical is it, and also in terms of rules, like how practical is it? I mean, it's great being able to form all these different formations and, you know, get people into, you know, various march columns, but how practical is it actually in a game? And this is, I say, this isn't meant to be controversial or anything. I was just essentially just looking to see, because at what point do you stop, if you see what I mean? So I don't know, what about you guys? I mean, have you ever basically looked at your armies and said, I know from a historical perspective that it should do this, but this is completely impractical and it's not going to work on the gaming table? Have you ever done it, looked at anything like that? Have you, or is it always, I'll have a go, how can I do it? Dom, you've always talked about the Mongols. You've always said you want to do a big Mongol force. So
my take on it's always been, it's a game, and it's got to be a compromise between historically. I mean, if it isn't historically accurate, then you might as well just play weird shit. So I want it to have some degree of historical reality in there, but I don't want that to come at a complete, you know, curtailment of having a damn good roll of dice and a bit of a laugh around the table. So it's always been a balance for me, and even then, you know, I can't remember. I was having discussion with it was in one of my comments, one of the Black Powder games I put together, and I had some Brits, English Napoleonics coming on, and I said, they can't form column, you know, because in the rules they're not allowed to, and somebody was sort of saying, is that really true, and blah blah blah. And I was thinking, well, actually, if you read about it, you read about the Napoleonic period, for instance, actually there's some doubt whether the French really went in column. They probably formed out into lines, and the British probably did form columns. But it's a simplicity thing for the game to make it entertaining. And for me, I don't have a problem with that. So if you go through history, you can find all kinds of examples where, you know, there's some doubt about what we always take as read as being correct. So for me, it's about that balance and getting that balance right. And to your point about the Mongols, I've always wanted to play a Mongol army, but I've yet to find a set of rules that I feel makes them entertaining and fun to play, because they're just like cavalry in most rule sets, and like cavalry dance around and go off the table and all that kind of stuff, and that's not necessarily the right way to play them. So it's, you know, or they're super heavy knights that smash through everything, which wasn't really what they were either. So that for me that becomes a bit of a problem. So that's as far as it goes in terms of realism, because yeah.
No, I think that's absolutely fair enough. What about you, Steve? Because you obviously you sort of do a lot with World War II, where obviously we have a great deal of photographic evidence, living memory for a while. You can actually talk to people. Do you ever think there's more of a pressure to deal with realism with the World War stuff? I'm thinking of your Baston stuff when you got someone was having a go at you about that. Like I say, I want to keep it fun because it just strikes me, if something looks good enough to pass as what you intend it to be, such as war paint that's blue, it shouldn't matter.
I think for me, I don't want to play a realistic war game because it'd be horrible. No, it would be. I mean, if you imagine trying to recreate every aspect of a real war, but on a tabletop, it would be depressing. I wouldn't want to play that. For me, it's fun. You got to enjoy yourself. You got to have fun with your mates, laugh at your dice rolls. But as far as the accuracy of the uniforms, I've always said they're your figures. Paint them as you want. I mean, I don't. If you want to field, the Waffen SS painted as the Teletubbies, knock yourself out. It's not going to. It's not going to impact me one bit. You've paid for the figures. Go for it.
A set of crack on dice to the first person that does full Waffen SS. We got them.
But that's always been my take. I mean, my mate that I game with, he's very much into accuracy. When it comes to building his lists, equipping the figures, all his projects have got a backstory with real units. I mean, what he's doing at the moment, he's plotting a British bolt action project from sort of just throughout the entire war. And while
demonstrating words.
Yeah, I've got visions of painting him as Mr. Blobby now. No, I mean it's a tough one. I mean, like you said, as far as the paint and the modelling goes, I mean, I've taken some flack over the past sort of 5 years with people questioning my choices of colours that I've used, or the accuracy of the uniform. I mean, case in point, many years ago, I kit bashed a unit of Luftwaffe Field Division, and from 3 feet away, if you paint them as they were historically, from 3 feet away, they're just regular grenadiers. They just you wouldn't be able to separate them out from a unit next to them. So I thought, I'm going to give them blue uniforms. I mean, I know when I post them, there's going to be some specimen that's going to point out that they're historically inaccurate, but they're my figures. I want them to stand out on the tabletop, and I want to be able to differentiate them from different units. And at the end of the day, I don't care. They're my toy soldiers. Now, obviously, there is sort of you're not going to play games where you got King Tigers at Dunkirk or things like that. It's not. I mean, there are boundaries if you want to keep it that way. But for me, the main thing for me is the enjoyment. Like Dom said, he hasn't found a rule for the Mongols that reflect them in a sort of enjoyable and fun to play way. When I play Bolt Action, it's just a. I've always described it as a comic book war game.
Sorry, I just remembered what we said last week. Is in my head you're trying to find a way to make Bolt Action fun. It's like add polar bears, zombies, and mechs. Sorry.
No, I mean it's. Well, when I play Bolt Action, I've always got that commando book sort of vibe in my head, and that's what I aim for when I play. I mean, I couldn't give 2 figs whether I win, lose, or draw. It's just having a laugh and getting some painted figures on the tabletop.
We all have a bit of a line in the sand, though, don't we? In terms of what you just saying there yourself, that you wouldn't put King Tigers on a D-Day beach game. No, you'd be quite happy to have pink SS.
I think everyone should paint their SS. It should be the law or something. It really
But it's interesting, isn't it? We all have those elements where you just think, I wouldn't do that. That's too far.
I guess that's what I'm getting at. So, picking up from what the guys said here, the comment that got me, and I think it was a good comment, and I don't, it didn't make me angry or anything. It made me think. Was we were talking about whether or not the ancient Gauls, Britons, the general just Iron Age tribes actually fought bollock naked. Excuse my language. Because of course you can purchase models from Victrix, from Warlord, from Egamet, from loads of different ranges, and they do. And that's a very popular Victorian thing. It's based on the descriptions from people like Polybius, and but as wargamers, we very much like that stereotype. Now, I personally feel it's because then it's very easy to differentiate them on the battlefield because it just looks good. Just from a visual perspective, sometimes feeding into that, you know, the stereotypical idea that you get from history, it just looks fun. Like the idea of, you know, in the medieval period of everyone wearing the same heraldry. You know, for an army, the English wear all this. You know, wear this. Where the truth is, they were all wearing whatever they could, and maybe one or two of them had a badge with the cross of St. George on them. You know, so it was kind of that prompted me. And of course, the thing was, I did go off and go and check a whole bunch of references first before I responded to the person, so I knew where I stood. But I never really sort of thought about it before, and then that fed into the comment about the war paints and things like that, because there is you know, evidence on coins for actually quite a lot on coinage for war paint actually on them. But the question is it paint or is it scarification, or is it just, you know, someone wanted to decorate someone's face on a coin? Because we do see that in other cultures. So that's what it just led me to really think about this. To me, I'm completely happy. I'm happy with having a whole bunch of naked fanatics because they're easily identifiable. It's the same as, I guess, as the Viking, you know, berserkers or berserkers, if you want to put it that way. You know, you have some companies that make them in the stereotypical traditional naked guys wearing bear skins, and then other people who have kind of taken a, you know, maybe they would actually have worn a helmet. Not to sort of mix terms. So for me,
so here's a question, Martin. If you've done all your Vikings, all your Gallic warriors in the buff running around, if there was conclusive proof discovered somehow that never happened, would you feel compelled to take that unit out of your army and do it?
No.
Way?
If anything, I'd paint another one.
No, I'm just at the same opinion. For me, it would be an affront to my painting, and I would add more. I'd do an entire army of historically inaccurate naked blokes. Yeah. I don't know.
I find it. It's that's a very good question. No, I wouldn't.
Or take any other historical period. So,
well, it's exactly to say, like Wars of the Roses. You know, if we suddenly discovered some evidence that the Earl of Warwick's livery, like his livery, well, no, it wasn't red with the bear and ragged staff. You know, I would. Oh, I don't know. Actually, no, I might have a problem with that.
Okay.
There you go.
That's because I'm more invested in that period.
Imagine if there was a source document that was uncovered, and they said that a certain regiment's pom-poms during the Napoleonic Wars were a different colour than you've painted them. Would you go back in and repaint all those pom-poms the right colour?
No bloody way.
No, but I would probably I might from that point forward.
Yes, I might do the same.
Change. Paul's just put up a good comment, which I'm not. I was going to do the comments afternoons, but he says this may seem a bit strange, but I think as a historical gamers, we should pay a certain amount of respect to the people who fought in these conflicts. I try to achieve this in uniforms, flags, tactics, and armies. I do agree, and to a certain extent, I think, because I see again, this sounds probably very I don't know what the right word is, but it looks like a red coat, you know, in British armies. So in my Napoleonics, it wouldn't bother me in the slightest if I got the facings wrong, as long as the flags for that regiment, the big details, were correct. I would try. I'm not going to say I'm going to go out my way to not do things correctly. You know, if I know, for example, that the South Lincolnshire have dark green facings, then I'll paint them. But if I can't find that out, I'm just going to, I'll paint them yellow or blue, but I would make sure they had the correct flags. Does that make sense? So to me, the big details that stand out, I think that's, if I can get those correct, then when it comes to the other details, I'm more happy to let things slide, like the naked people running across a field.
So what about taking the Napoleonic analogy a bit further? Most of your British, I think, if I remember rightly, have got Belgian Shakos on them.
Yeah.
But would you mind playing Peninsular battles with them?
Wouldn't bother me in the slightest.
No,
wouldn't bother me in the slightest. What I may do is not include a regiment who wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the same I could say.
That's interesting. So you would have a regiment that wasn't there, but you wouldn't mind them wearing the different. See, I don't necessarily care particularly about the uniform.
I would say, well, if it depends what kind of game it was. For example, I can't really think of something, but like the Mamluks or something like that. Like, I mean, I think they went pretty much everywhere with the Predators. That's probably a bad example. But if we were doing I don't know, a Peninsular game. Would I mean, again, but I've thrown Italians into 1815 games. So no, I've kind of lost my own case in point. So no, I don't. No, I think you're right. Actually, no, that would bother me. But no, the uniforms wouldn't stop me if I've collected something for a certain period. Because it's the same with the Wars of the Roses. The armor types that we use from those Men at Arms box sets, they spread 50, 60 years, and there's armor in that box set that just was not available at the start of the Wars of the Roses. It just wasn't. Some of the models I've done are wearing armor that didn't exist till 1475, and there wasn't really another battle until Bosworth. So that's the next time that would be seen. So those kind of things don't bother me too much, I guess. What about you, Steve? Would you field something knowing it couldn't have been there? For example, would you? I was trying to think. Would you play something in the like a US force in the ruins of Stalingrad?
No. No. We always try whenever we play Baltax, we always try and theme the scene to our armies. So we mostly play Normandy. So Brent Mate's got Americans, I've got Germans, and then we've both got Far East army as well, so we always use jungle scenery for that. I just think it just brings a certain. I think Robin mentioned it before about scenery. It's important, and it is. I mean, obviously, when you go to, I don't do ball action tournaments, but obviously, I've watched tournaments where people have got like they're running desert forces in Bastogne or Finns in jungles. So it does happen, but that's tournament. So I can sort of see why that happens. One thing that I wouldn't do is if I was playing X-Wing, I wouldn't have ships from episodes 1, 2, and 3 fighting against original trilogy ships, because that would be a step too far.
But in the new continuity, you can, can't you? Because hasn't the Mandalorian got a Naboo Starfire?
I can't do it. Can't do it.
We're a strange.
We are such a weird bunch, aren't we? It's extraordinary how different.
I would argue that I find scenery harder to shake than troops, because I can't. For example, I look at medieval buildings, but I wouldn't put a timber frame building in a Saxon game.
No.
To me, that just looks wrong. Because to me, the look of the battlefield is almost more important than the troops, which is weird, isn't it? Sometimes I made a whole new well because the well that I owned had a tiled roof, and I was like, it had like a little pitch roof on it. I was like, no. So it just is. It is strange to see what people in the chat are saying. It's moving very fast. The Duke of Wellington says it's Tuesday morning in Oz and you've just done a night shift. I hope we're managing to, either I hope we've sent you to sleep and you have a great evening, or you're sticking with us. I also did just see that chat went up to 161. So thank you, everyone.
Hey!
Nick says, "Evening all. Realism. Every good game starts with a long march walk. Every little to eat and drink. Everyone's exhausted before the game and battle begins. That's realism. That's parenting, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's parenting.
Just like...
Rich says, never let realism get in the way of a good game.
Yeah.
And that's very obvious in rule sets as well. I think there are some rule sets where they've got the ethos where they're like, just have fun, like Black Powder. You know, they've never let realism get in the way.
Nope.
And then you'll have other ones which, you know, there is a chart or a FAQ for every single situation, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, I mean, I've mentioned about a million times about the game at my old games club when I was a young whippersnapper. And the elder statesman game, which used to play this massive modern, and it was like 2 or 3 mil modern game on a massive great big table, and they never looked like they were enjoying themselves ever. It was just always dour looks on their faces, consulting charts bigger than the Financial Times. It didn't look fun, but what they were playing was apparently ultra realistic. It also looked ultra dull.
It's a strange one. Okay, so let me. I don't know. Dom might be able to pitch in for this one, and you've already covered it with X-Wing. What about when it comes to established fantasy science fiction settings? So I guess the big one is obviously GW. I'm painting up a bunch of World Eaters in their pre-heresy colors, which are blue and white, covering them in grime and blood. But I have kind of gone off piste a little bit and done some things on them, which I got a comment back on, which is they didn't wear that, and my comment reply is, "Are you mental?" I don't mean to be rude here. So you know, how do you feel about that in sort of establishing? Dom, I'm just trying to think of maybe because like things like Lord of the Rings, which is the Middle Earth strategy battle game is based on the Peter Jackson films, which in turn are based on Tolkien's books, and they actually bear in some cases very little resemblance to how things are described in the books. So,
I mean, is that a thing? Do you think that's actually almost more prevalent in fantasy type environments because of this Games Workshop kind of effect of, you know, you've got to use this model, it's got to look like this for. Is it? I don't know. I mean, I know Napoleonic wargamers are notorious button counters, but it just feels...
I saw a comment on a Facebook group fairly recently where this guy had painted an awesome looking dreadnought, right? And it looked really, really cool. And and the majority of the comments were, "That's a really, really nice dreadnought, but that color scheme wouldn't have been used by that legion at that period." And I was just sitting there, but it looks really cool. Does it matter? Does it matter? I will just say, I have found bouncing between us that this is so weird that the Warhammer Horus Heresy players seem way more chilled out than the Warhammer 40,000 players. And those groups, I was kind of bouncing around between goats. I was bouncing around between goats, between groups, just trying to work out sort of where to, which group do I want to be in and post my picture. And I sort of looked at some of them, I was like, yeah, definitely don't want to be in this one. I'm going to move on. So yeah, it's an odd thing, isn't it? I guess people are very, very protective over anything that they love. For example, I love the 15th century and the Wars of the Roses, and it's something that's very close to my heart. I'm going to naturally be more protective over it. Whereas some people, certain stories like Middle Earth or Warhammer.
Yeah, imagine someone leaving a comment on one of my turnip videos saying, "Oh no, that uniform's wrong." It's not.
Can someone do that?
Please don't. Please don't.
That mud would not have existed in Western Europe.
I think you find if you crush a turnip that the juice is actually this colour. What colour is the juice of a turnip? Out of curiosity.
I don't know. I don't think I've even ever tasted turnip.
I know what a cry of a turnip is.
The cry. That sounds like a song.
Sounds like a song by Smokey Robinson.
But you do. I mean, I think you're right people who think they know everything there is to know about a given period or army or something, generally, not always, generally get much more hot under the collar about this sort of stuff, I think. I mean, I remember...
That's when you get into gatekeeping now, isn't it?
It is. Do you remember that comment? I can't even remember what it was about, but there was a comment on one of those notorious forums, one of the Napoleonic ones, where somebody had posted a picture of, I think it was Grenadiers of Cheval or something like that, and they'd done the trumpeter with, I can't even remember what it was now. I think it was a different coloured horse or something compared to everybody else. And he said, and this guy, it's the longest stream of comments I've ever seen about. They were talking about whether it was the right colour horse that they were using, and it went on and on and on. And this guy was getting increasingly upset about it, the whole thing, because he thought he knew everything. And he ended up posting a picture of himself on a horse wearing a reenactment uniform. And I thought, yeah, that kind of sums it all up, really. So it's like, but then if you go and look at any of the museums that got uniforms left over from that period, they're faded to the ridiculous, degree. You couldn't tell what colour they are. I just, yeah.
I mean, and this just kind of goes back to the original point. So I don't want to go off track. And how the whole point was how practical, because I think you can. I love research. I've got so many books on so many subjects, pamphlets, leaflets. I love it. I love research, obviously, into my specific period. But how practical is it? Like when it comes to the Wars of the Roses and looking individual liveries, you can go nuts looking through all of this stuff. And at what point does it become, you know what, this isn't practical? I can't paint every 3 or 4 guys in a different company's livery, even though they would have been made up of separate companies. I'm just going to give them a sweeping Warwick livery and paint every 5th dude in a separate coat of arms. Do you see what? Whereas otherwise, there should be like a really, really big mix. I mean, I love that the research and knowing these things, but is it about finding a balance in that you doesn't matter what other people do, that you're happy with yourself?
I think if you were there'd be a good chance you'd never get a unit finished. If you were, imagine painting, I don't know, a section from World War II, and you go and want to get the right hue, the right colour, the right shade, then you want to get everything. I think you'd end up going, you'd end up losing, any interest you had.
You can go away with me. Go away.
But no, I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, knock yourself out. I mean, I doff my hat if you want to take the hobby that far. But it's like with these ACW. I'm not painting these to any realistic. I mean, at that scale, they're not going to be real. I'm just, blue for the Union and some browns and grey for the Confederacy. Aside from that, that's it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess it's like wargamers and modelers, and you get a little bit of a crossover between the two. People who do those amazing dioramas of a scene, I'm thinking of, God, what's his name? Does brilliant dioramas, and he had a broken down Stug or assault gun or something with them, re-equipping it, and it was just the most amazing model.
Night Shift.
Yes.
Yeah. His stuff is absolutely
unbelievable,
phenomenal. Just so good.
Or one of those big battlefield scenes that people do, and they spend years just building a particular, the attack on Hougoumont or something in 54mm or whatever, and that's awesome.
I mean, I used to work with a guy, I may have mentioned before, he does scale modelling, but he only builds 4 tanks a year because he will spend sort of 3 months on each one, because the research he puts in and the level of detail and the realism, that's the hobby for him. He doesn't do anything with them, but that's his hobby. Whereas with gaming, you've got your painting side, you've got your the hobby paint aspect, and you've also got the gaming side as well. I think it really is about, from a realism perspective, it's like it is striking a fine balance. It's like Don, when you were doing your Boxer Rebellion, are they all 100% historically accurate?
No, because they're
Say
toys.
yes.
No,
He's
I
not
mean,
no.
I have no idea. I mean, they're very similar to what you get in the Osprey book, but
Yeah.
is that correct? But I think also with those sort of things, part of the fun for me is that what inspired me was 55 Days in Peking.
Yeah.
So actually, the film more than the actual historical period, if you like, kind of caught my eye. But I don't know. It's I mean, that's a little bit easier, that one, in some ways, because it's quite a finite period of time.
Paul raises a really good point. I'm just going to throw this up. When you look at the work from you guys on the Facebook page, we will strive to get uniforms as correct as possible, considering the amount of research we can manage. And it's true. We're saying all this now. And I'm thinking about it, though. I do look at plate, as you're saying, you know, I look at plates, I look at Osprey, I look at all sorts, and they come up with something in the middle, I guess.
I mean, do you think sometimes it's the best way to describe this? We're looking at it from we want them to look good on the tabletop. That for me, that's important. Do they look nice on the tabletop? And then is it? If we were to, I've always said with camouflage, if you were to paint real camouflage, an accurate camouflage scheme from 3 feet away, you're not going to see it.
No.
But if you do it a bit over the top,
not if you've done it right, because you won't be able to see it.
But you're right. I mean, that's part of the point, isn't it? We are effectively using them as counters, so they need to be identifiable.
Yeah.
And so you want to be able to look on a table of figures and go, oh, those guys on the grey horse, that's the Scots Greys. Because, you know, they were called grey horse.
Years ago, some utter skid mark over on the Flames of War forum, when it was still open, was pulling me up on my 15mm P dot camouflage. What? And you know, it's that for me was a step too far. It really was.
We are a strange bunch. we really are.
But
this is where we need to,
I
would say particularly us, because we've just said, no, it doesn't matter except for this, and this, and then basically anything I do. And this is why we need Ken.
But you know, I'm fully prepared to I do compromise, but also, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I'll look at. I've been looking at stuff around the Indian Mutiny a lot at the moment, and you look at one book and it'll sort of describe whatever uniform they wore, and then another one it would say something completely different, and so you have to make a judgment call, and then I'll just go for the one that I think will look nicest on the tabletop. So, yeah.
Matt, no, Matt, don't. You're just going to rile. Don's going to read that, and he's now going to. That's from me. From his. Oh dear. Right then. Well, that's given some food for thought. I'd like to say I don't think there's a particularly right answer. I was just curious because of the various comments I've had over the last couple of weeks.
Basically, you can't believe anything we say is basically what you take from that.
Yeah, essentially. Essentially. Right then. I think it's time that we go and do the news. Before we do that, I'd just like to remind everyone that we are, of course, sponsored by the lovely people over at Boards and Swords. And after the main news, we will give you the exciting details of the next giveaway. Before we do that, though, I'd just like to just take a second as well, because we are a small community of generally like-minded people, and we've done this before. And when members of the community either have issues going on or they are doing things for charity, if we can, we like to share that with that. So people who are interested or who can potentially help can go and have a look as well. Now, Simon Foley, who you probably know as Bite Size Wargaming, recently shared a video for a GoFundMe campaign for his niece, who's called Sylvie Ray, who's basically they're trying to raise funds for her to undergo surgery, which will hopefully allow her sort of life-changing surgery to be able to walk. There is currently a live link to a GoFundMe page, and they've currently raised just over £4,000, and their target is 15,000. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop a link in the chat. That's to Simon's video that he posted, which gives you some more details about the what's going on. But after reading it, and because I know a lot of people in the community and in the forest world have had various things going, and you know, it's nice to reach out within the community, and we can help each other where we can. So there's the link for Simon's video. Nice. Likewise, here is the link to the GoFundMe, where you can find more details as well. Simon is active in the group, and I encourage you to go and check out his channel as well, and definitely have a look at his medievals. The cause that they're raising money for really is well, there's nothing more important really than the health of your children, is there? So you do anything you can. So please go over and have a look at that as well. And then also they've also made the local news as well, which I'm just going to post a link for as well. So please, if you guys go and have a look at it, if anyone can help in any way at all of the details are in there. Yeah, but yeah, like I say, you know, it was a sort of video, and we spoke to Simon, and he his sister and himself said they didn't mind us sharing it on here. So please do go and check it out. Should we do some news?
Yay!
Yeah.
We have a new news thing, don't we? We have a new
Yep.
I'll try to find it. New news.
The one that says news, mate.
You can start now because you're a sarky bastard.
Oh, I'm going to go hunting for the wheel I've just dropped under the table. All right.
I'll be gone. Carpet Monster's going to
Carpet Monster's got it. Yeah, bloody hell. I'll let you talk about a certain moisture department in the ECW, which I know you've already got there. So, Reconquer Designs. This is their February issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
A whole load of Andalusian light cavalry. Look at those fellas.
I can't wait for those because they're very similar in style to the mercenaries that I did. And this sounds awful, but I can't be bothered to stick together another Victrix set, and that'll print in 2 pieces. So, yeah,
they do look lovely. Really, really good. So that's that. Victrix continue with their amazing production at the moment. So Greek hoplites are available as of Friday. I think they went on sale, pre-order.
Now, is this a brand new set or an upgrade to their old set?
I think, well, they did the heads, didn't they? But I think this is a complete upgrade, or at least it's an addition to what they previously done. I'm sure somebody will correct me in a minute, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. They certainly did a head set, and I think this is separate though. This is
I remember the headsets. I almost bought some of the heads for a turnip project.
There you go. It's brand new.
All right.
I was right.
I love it that you had to add that on. You had to add, I was right.
I was right.
Ultimately, that's what matters.
New set with dynamic poses.
Rogue Trooper, nice one.
Well done, dude. So what else? Also, prepare wallets to receive new Hicks incoming.
Hicks.
Paul Hicks,
yes,
latest Kickstarter. Along with, what did you think I was saying?
It doesn't matter. It's not.
So he's last year. Was it last year they did the Arnhem British paratroopers? So the new one, which I think it says here is coming in late March, early April, will focus on some of the Polish forces.
Cool.
And they do look pretty damn good. Look
Yeah.
at those fellas. Really, really good.
Very nice. I am still really intrigued as well by the sculpts he's doing Vandy Hob Day, these fantasy ones.
Oh,
Because
the elves.
these ones.
Yeah, those ones.
Yeah, but I didn't realize. So Angus McBride did the artwork that you can see in the background. But Angus McBride has actually done some of, I believe, the actual designing. He's done the dwarves. He's done the dwarves. So yeah. I mean, Paul, what's he going to do to us? I mean,
they are lovely figures, aren't they? I'm thinking, what am I going to do with them? But I'm not. So I'm not.
Are you painting elves again?
Yeah, not going to happen. Sorry, Don. We should do a Don warning, shouldn't we, at this point? So that's that. Yeah, so I had those as well because he was sharing these elves that they look amazingly good sculpts. Also, posted this on the Facebook page. If you're not a member already, then click on the link down below and answer the questions and join it because that's where all the cool kids hang out. Was Plastic Soldier Company? Did you see this? That they're
yes.
They are going to start producing a whole load of resin models using basically pretty much anybody they can get sculpts for. Seems like so from 6mm, 10mm, 12mm, 15mm, and 20mm, using because apparently the resin that they use for the Chromaty Ancient 15mm is so good that they're actually going to use it now for their vehicles as well. Okay. So that could create a huge new range of figures for vehicles for them in all different sort of types and different variants. And it's a really interesting move. So yeah. What else? Oh yeah. I did have a picture, but the picture's lousy. But just something for the calendars. 22nd, 23rd of June. Our friends at Boards and Swords, Ian, is hosting a Napoleonic Wargaming Day, which I think is also being run by Napoleonic Wargamer, if you follow his channel.
Yeah, Tim.
I don't know the details at the moment, beyond the fact that it's that date, 22nd, 23rd, and I believe the tickets go on sale on the Boards and Swords website tomorrow evening about 6 o'clock. And it's a black powder Napoleonic event. I don't know much more about that, other than I think I remember Tim saying it was points. So you'll hate that, Martin. It's just a sort of fun weekend of games using points.
Well, no, I'm coming. That's going to be one of my other 2024 things. I might try to embrace points. I promise nothing. I just might try.
There we go.
Well, Martin, I'd love to see you looking through one of the bolt action campaign books.
Well, hang on, because I've got that for Christmas, which is the Astartes book. That is all points. That's no fluff. That is all army lists.
Gee whiz.
Blimey.
And I was reading, so I sort of opened it up, and I was like, where's just Space Marines? You know, where can we have this? And I was confronted because it has been a while since I ventured into this. Legion Tactical Squad, 100 points. A Legion Tactical Squad may take an additional legionary for plus 10 points, may take a Vox plus 10 points, a Scanner plus 10 points, a Vexelia plus 10 points, bayonets plus 1 point each, chain bayonets plus 2 points each. All legionaries must be given chainsaws plus 5 points per model, plus 10 points for a combi weapon, plus 5 points for a minor combi weapon, 5 points for a chainsword, 10 points for a heavy chainsword. Power weapons, power fists, lightning claws, plasma pistols, volkite serpentures, hand flamers, artificer armor, melter bombs. And then you go to the dedicated transport bit.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Dom, could you elaborate on that?
Just weird shit, mate. Just weird shit. That's all
It's cool. I'm here for it. I'm going to try.
There you go. Over to you then. That's all I've got.
Someone's just put in the comments, Math is our friend. Oh, it was Don. I think you find it's Maths. Anyway,
yes, quite right.
So what have I seen? So first of all, Footsore are going to be putting out a Kickstarter in March, end of February, March, and this is with This is with Matt Bickley, and these are for Vikings, and I think it says something like on the Kickstarter, possibly the best Yeah, there it is, possibly the best ever made. It is a massive Kickstarter, so here is one load of them, and then you've got some. These are raiders. You've got some more raiders here. Look on mounted Vikings, which there are some out there in ranges, but you don't see a lot of them, do you?
No.
So that might be something I pick a few up, because it's always just fun to have for games.
Are they STLs or actual models?
No, they're metals. No, they're metals. They're metals. Why? Because can you hear your wallet crying now?
No, actually, no. It's funny. They do look really good, but I have got so many, and I think it's interesting. Is there another range or different type of or nation of figures that isn't more represented in Wargaming than Vikings? There are so many manufacturers.
That is a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. Well, moving on from one set of metals to the other, let's look at bloody miniatures and the Gentleman of War. So this is for his regiment, isn't it? So he's releasing multiple sets. So if you buy this, you get a 20-man strong regiment, and this is the command. There's a drummer there, Steve. Look at that drummer.
See,
a bloody drummer.
I didn't mind painting the drummer that I did for my ECW. I didn't mind that. I don't know what it was. It was just quite enjoyable.
You've got no consistency. You.
They are.
They are something special, aren't
they? Let's just look at everyone. I want a moment. Oh, just look at the pikes. That poor. I can hear Miller salivating.
Yeah, have you seen Miller's comment?
No, what's he put? I love those bloody miniatures. I love those bloody miniatures.
Yeah, we won't use that one. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. He likes them, and then there's more here. Look at port.
Hang on,
and
get rid of that.
Charge
Yeah.
fights. Oh, look at it. And then you got the musketmen, the shot ready. I mean,
they are nice.
Wow, just lovely.
Very good
stuff.
indeed.
Very cool.
Leslie, they're not bendy. He's using metal ones, so they're actually not, I believe.
Yeah. A pike would bend a bit, wouldn't it?
It would do a little bit, especially when it's stuck in somebody.
Miller, does your pike wobble? do you have a wobbly pike? Is that a persistent problem in reenacting?
Does he need a little blue pill to help him with his wobbly pike?
Wobbly pike. You can't do a lot with pike wobble. That sounds like a good name for a beer, pike wobble. Or just wobbly pike.
I like it.
Wobbly pike.
Wobbly pike. That's a 2024 beer. Yeah, if anyone knows how to brew beer, we've got 9 months before CrackCon, and we'll see if we can get some wobbly pike. Right, next up. I don't have a wobbly pike now.
Jesus.
Oh dear.
Right, the tone has gone.
I can't unsee that comment. That's just.
Crusade Miniatures is more 15mm Spanish Civil War.
Are they 15mm? They're very.
They are 15mm.
Very nice.
Wow. I believe they are metal as well. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know somebody will. 166 in the chat. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Hit that like and subscribe, please. Thank you.
See, that's a. Would you play the Spanish Civil War? I've got a friend who's madly interested in the Spanish Civil War. And would love to play.
Really interesting period to fight.
We went to Warlord, and this was probably about 5 years ago for their open day. And he put his hand up and said, "Do you have any intentions of doing an expansion?" And I've never seen 4 people go no all at once. So
thinking about it then.
Yeah. So look, you got these, but then look at these.
They are fantastic.
They are nice. They're 15.
They're 15.
Wow.
Yeah, and then check this out.
Oh yes!
Oh wow!
I'm afraid that's in my future. Those are wow.
I know. It's just like, Crusade Miniatures. Go check them out. These are on the way. So really, really nice. Really nice. Star Wars Legion. people were worried the game was dead. It appears not to be. They are releasing stuff from, well, they've already released things from the expanded stuff. I don't know what this means, they're releasing this. So this is the 5th brother and 7th sister. These are the Inquisitors. So they're on their way. I was actually just putting these up more because it was a I know people have been worried that the game is dead ever since that they sort of released Shatterpoint, the sort of large scale, really big minis one. These are cool. If this is your bag, I do like playing Legion. I'm not a massive fan of these models, I've got to say, but yeah, they're on the way if people want them. I know we got some people that played Batman, and when I was a kid, do you remember the Batman animated series, Steve? I'm sure.
Yeah, I remember that
animated one. I don't know if you remember that near the end of it, they did a thing that was like Batman Beyond, which was like set like quite in the future. So they're going into that. So there's Batman from Batman Beyond. But I only wanted to put him up because they've done the Bruce Wayne from that, and I for some reason I love this model. I just think that's really cool. I just think that's ace. I don't know why. I just love it. I just think it would be a lot of fun to paint, but I think it's just because I want to paint the dog. The expression on its face.
That dog's face, man. That's so funny.
I know. It is. That is cool. And then moving on to Mantic in Kings of War. So you might notice that a few of the other fantasy people, game suppliers have been obviously upping their game because of the release of the Old World, and it makes sense. I'm trying to think if anything happened in the Old World. Oh yes, there's a bunch of made to order of the old sets coming out. Again, I'm just going to say it now. If you want to know old world info, go and watch Miniature Realms at Stuart's channel, or go and watch Tabletop Saga, which is Matt's channel, because they will give you far more up-to-date information than I'll do, because by the time I've said it here, something else will have happened. But Mantic have released this. They've released a 2-player ambush starter sets for Kings of War. So they're smaller starter sets than the starter sets. So I think they're about 3 units each. So they don't break the bank. You buy them, and if you hated it, you haven't really lost that much money. So here's the new ambush starter set. So you get three regiments each. You get the North people, who I've forgotten, a Northern Alliance, and not the Dark Elves. Twilight Kin, I think they're called. That's 60 quid. So if you were splitting it with a friend, 30 quid each for that, which I don't,
that's really good value for getting into a game, isn't it?
You get like a couple of little, guides and a couple of routes and a bunch of scenarios to play through. And then if you hated it, that's it. That's what's in a video game. So I think it's interesting. I'm quite enjoying seeing what people are doing to attract people to their gaming systems. So that was about it for
There's a lot of
what we've
stuff
seen in
coming
Wargaming.
through, isn't there?
There is. I did find it quite hard to sort of pin down. Let's just quickly catch up here before we do a couple of other things. There's a lot of stuff in here saying pike size does not matter. It's not the size of your pike, but how you thrust it that counts. Oh god. Oh dear. Right. Well, at least we know what's going to be on the t-shirts this year. Don then tries to bring it back in, saying he's very interested in those Spanish Civil War. They look great. They do, don't they? They do. The rich.
Hands up! Who's gone and looked on the website already?
Have you just done that?
God.
Oh, fantastic. Because of course this week you may have remembered we are going to announce our Crackpot of the Year. So this is our 2023 Crackpot. But before we do that, Dom will fill you in on the giveaway from our lovely sponsors. Boards. What are you ogling? Not Miller's Pie. Anyway, moving on.
Hey, Steve, there's the Chacos War, which is a small South American war between Bolivia and Paraguay in 15 mil here, mate. Just saying. Just check that out.
You're a bad man, you know that.
They're in Second World War type of outfits, so you don't have to worry about drummers or anything.
If you would like to make a complaint, Steve, to Human Resources, that's technically Haley. So
is it? Right.
Yeah.
So I'm probably the most inappropriate person to
That's why I want you to do
this competition, because I have no frigging idea at all. So lovely friends at Boards and Swords, i.e. Ian, said he was very happy to. Well, he said to me, "What would you like us to give away?" And I said, "I don't know, something you got lots of that you're happy to part with." and he said, "Well, I've got a restock of these
Legions Imperialis.
Legions Imperialis,
Oh
the
yes.
core set, apparently." So I said, "Well, I assume it's weird shit, so I assume people will like it, so that's fine." So we have one of these to give away. Now
It's
the
an
only
awesome set.
Yeah.
only slight caveat to that is because of GW being GW, he's not allowed to send it to people abroad. So it has to be from the UK, I'm afraid, on this occasion. So really
yes,
sorry about that. If you are in the UK and you would like to win this, then please comment on this video, not in this comment section here, but in the actual video itself.
After the stream's ended.
Say after the stream's ended. Yes, don't go away yet. And just say, yes, please, to weird shit. And we will happily do a draw next week on stream.
Which we will do live.
We'll do it live. And you will win Legions of Imperialis course army thingy, whatever it is, that thing.
That is a brilliant giveaway prize. So you're going to get everything. I mean, look at Steve.
Can I just say it was a touch of genius getting Dom to do that?
I know. I feel a bit bad.
Well, I hope, but Ian didn't want me to promote the set particularly hard because I've no idea what I'm talking about. But there you go. So thank you, Ian. Thank you, Boards and Swords.
Absolutely, John. As long as the destination is in the UK, then that's fine. So yeah, we will do the draw live next week, which I think is Dom. Is it you next week?
I think it probably is.
I think it is. Yes.
God, I get to do it all again. Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, that's a cracking one. So thank you very, very much to lovely people at Boards and Swords. Right then, so let's come on to the crackpot of the year, and then we'll have a look at the pictures. So I
think absolutely. If you've got a UK address to send it to, I don't care. You won't care. Just has to go to a UK address. So
that's it. And then what you do after that is entirely up to you. But that is very good. Ken is going to be gutted.
He is.
That he's not here. He's going to be crying somewhere when he finds out. Make sure everyone tells him. So that's very cool. And that's obviously Steve. That's what you've been working on. I know there's loads of people in the group that are
such a good box.
Good box.
It is.
Good box.
Fantastic. Right. Crackpot of the year. So we started this last year, and as you guys know, we have the Plastic Crack Podcast Facebook group, which you can find the link to down below. Just come there and enter Dom's questions free. If Dom's the one that looks at it, he'll let you in. If we look at it, it doesn't really matter what you said, and we'll let you in. I'm pretty sure someone said no to one of them, or just I said I don't feel comfortable answering this, so I just said yeah, fine, whatever. Anyway. So we have the group, and this what we like to do is just point out someone who we think has made a contribution to the community, who basically always goes above and beyond, who's fun to be around. Miller, you've not won it, mate.
No.
And
that was crucial.
Sorry. And generally, just someone who we think deserves some recognition. Not necessarily doesn't mean the best painter or the best modeler or the person who's got YouTube channels or whatever. Just someone that we think deserves recognition. But tonight we've actually got two categories. So first of all, if we can have a drum roll, so last year it was Tim Bickerdike. This is our 2023 Crackpot of the Year is Matt Mail.
Hey!
So Matt is so Battle Matt. First of all, he's got a YouTube channel, so do go and check it out. But Matt always goes above and beyond when he's building forces for the participation games at CrackCon. He that Oxford force he put together for our Wars of the Roses game. The force he put together to play Miller on the Star Fort. But one of the reasons we had to give him this time was Matt had such a nightmare getting to CrackCon last year. He braved floods and trees and
Literally.
wraiths and skeletons and all sorts trying to get there. He rolled in just before lunch, but do or die, he was going to represent in his Tewkesbury game, and we are very glad he did. So a big congratulations to Matt. We are very, very pleased to have him in the group, and also what happened was basically we couldn't agree. we couldn't agree.
No, that's not quite true. We were all asked the thing, and two names came out. It was exactly
two names came out. And there's someone else who we think deserves distinction and special recognition because their support for the podcast, not least because they sent some money so we could have a drink at CrackCon, which went
not that
went
we can be
down so
bribed
well.
at all. No,
absolutely not. But he's always here. He's here every week in the chat. He's always on, and we've probably caused him to spend a little bit more money than so we feel that our very own Don Ayres deserves a badge for distinction service. Now the fact that he's got Danny McBride as his picture, I wanted to put that picture up more than actually a picture of him. So there we go. So Don, thank you so much for the support of the stream. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the drinks; they were massively appreciated.
Oh yes.
And we're very, very sorry for everything we've done to your bank account over the last 4 years.
Really?
No, not really, because he's coming over. Hopefully, isn't he, for this one? Yeah. So we will put those up in the Facebook group. The way that works is, we just basically have a discussion amongst ourselves, and we will do the same again next year. So there we go. God, next year. Oh God. It's only January still. Right, let's catch up with what
there'll be another little ginger so and so around next year. Oh dear, I would have thought.
I mean that would be. I mean. It's going to be. I can't wait. John said this won't smooth things over with my wife, but thank you. Just going back. So no, lots first. I'm just checking. Was Matt in the chat? He was in the chat earlier.
He was. He seems to have disappeared now.
Apparently, Leanne's laugh when she heard that Miller wasn't winning anything was deafening. I hope she was laughing at that and not his bendy pike. So excellent. Anyway, so yes, let's see what people are saying. No, I thought it was a mini agnostic says visually every war game involving some abstraction of figure ratio has many different scales involved, figure height versus unit width. No, you're totally right. It's absolutely spot on. Rogue Trooper, for me, it's all about having fun and sod realism. If you want realism, no one would ever play 40k. Absolutely right. Or Lion Rampant.
Zing!
I did
straight in.
I did say, I can't remember what we were talking about. We were talking about Lion. I will play it this year. I did talk about Lion Rampant. We were talking about it the other day. I might have intimated that I would rather play a game of noughts and crosses to resolve combat than the system in Lion Rampant. I will play it. I'll play it again this year, courtesy of Dom. Lionheart says, I wouldn't say it's practical for me, but essential for my love and immersion of history to play good-looking games on the tabletop. Otherwise, you might as well play with blocks of wood. Agreed. But have you seen that really cool, good-looking war game with blocks of wood with gold inlay?
Gold
on them? Yeah, you can get
not doing it. No, that's
right.
not wargaming. That's board gaming. Bits of board gaming. Yeah.
David says terrain is very opposite. I'm building 6mm woodlands that troops can fight under, and to have the look of that heavily forested battlefield in the American Civil War sites, detachable and modular.
That's an interesting thing. So it's actually going to have proper canopy over it. I like that.
Yeah.
So David, will you actually shred it with the artillery and stuff like that when they start firing at the wood? So will you take some of the wood cover off? I'm genuinely interested by that idea. That's a really good idea.
Robin, especially when it comes to scenery, it has to scale with the game. Really realistic scenery is more practical in a skirmish game. That's true. Regiments moving through towns, things. There's always problems with that. We have one building probably represents 4 or 5, doesn't it? Realistically, we say a farmyard. But it's like when you say let's capture the village, and there's like 2 houses and a well. Good point. David says a truly realistic war game would be months of logistics and planning, followed by an hour-long actual game on a table. That sounds like CrackCon.
Sounds like most of my Friday games with Jono. By the time we've had a chinwag and got the figures out, it's time to pack them away again. So it's all
Robin again, and period. I'll have US powers in different uniforms from Normandy and Arna because it just seems right. But I'll use the same Napoleonic figure for 1800 to 1815. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah,
right, absolutely. Tim, how you doing, dude? He's a 50-year-old. Started gaming at 4. Having friends in the game, having friends of gaming. What's most important to me is having a unit look good and allow myself to have fun. What matters is it's on my table. There we go.
Absolutely, mate.
Trevor, as you guys have mentioned previously, as long as you paint figures to give a good impression of the uniforms in that era, fine detail is less important when looking at them from 3 feet away. That seems to be one of the big sort of consensus on here. Shakos, at which point does the artwork painting itself take precedence over anything historical? Think Paul's amazing French cavalry versus someone who's blobbed with Ken's finger paints. Oh, he really wants Ken's job, doesn't he?
He does.
We still
got a strong showing.
It is. Can we do it? Can we do a thing like like in The Apprentice where they do the interviews?
I was thinking more the traitors. We could kill him.
I haven't watched that, and to be fair, I haven't watched The Apprentice in years. Roger said his breaking point is Belgic Shakos. In the past, all artwork was Belgics because it's 1812 regulation dress. Pretty well, all my figures are in stovepipes. Paul, I think it's a personal thing. For him, he tries his best to represent the troops as best I understand them from the research that he's managed to do. That said, my opponent's army doesn't bother me too much. Interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? So,
Before we continue, can nobody mention orcs in sandwich bags?
All right. We were talking about that the other day, me and my mate, actually. Probably. Yeah, that is an interesting one, isn't it? You go to if you do go to all the effort of making your army as historically accurate as possible, so it looks the business. And then you turn up and your opponent has painted whatever. Does that have any kind of bearing?
Yeah, because we're talking about the visual effect, aren't we? So you've done a huge amount of work. You've made a lovely table, and your figures are all pretty much how you imagine they should do. And then he dumps a bag of toys at the other end of the table in a plastic bag.
You've triggered Steve.
That genuinely, I think that would upset me. I'm not going to lie.
I think it would if we'd have got into the game together and they were going to paint them up. If it was a random person down the club, I'd be less bothered about it. I think maybe that's why I paint both armies for pretty much everything I do. Even 30k, I'm painting both.
The guy with the sandwich bags would probably win by default because I'd be on the floor crying.
That bloke. Yeah. Oh, bless him. Bless him. For anyone who doesn't know this story, and I feel I should just fill it in because we have 164 people in the chat, and I definitely was 164 when I told this story. A friend of mine went to a club night in Cambridge, and this has been verified now by many people. And he was playing a game of 40k, and he set his Space Marines up. He was playing against the Orcs, and his opponent got out his Orc army, and each unit was in the sandwich bag, and it was just written on the sandwich bag what was in there. And it was essentially just the clipped sprues, and they were just in the bags, and he was moving them around. My friend was so perplexed, he kind of like let it go, and these bags were just getting moved around. And when a unit was destroyed, he just sort of took stuff out the bag and popped it in there. I think there's a market. I think it's not sod movement trays.
Movement bags. I like it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I always think so when he was packing his army up before that game. At what point did he say to himself, "You know what? This is a plan with no drawbacks. What could possibly go wrong?"
What could possibly go wrong?
Was it you that said he should have to give all his figures back? just give your figures back. I mean, there's somebody who really wanted to play the game.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but yeah.
Sorry, hang on. I'm dabbing blood on something. Hang on. Right. Next up, friends of General Hay. I think that some GW players are more worried about uniform than historical gamers, and there is always some uncertainty in history. Absolutely. John, how do people feel about blue on blue games, tournaments with ahistorical matchups? Ooh, Steve.
I mean, I can see why it happens. I know there was one that I was meant to be going to last year where it was cancelled because of the inclement weather, but they specifically said there was going to be no blue on blue. So there were so many slots for Axis and so many slots for Allies, and all the games are going to be configured so you'd only ever play against historical opponents.
Can I ask why?
I just think
no, not you. I mean that tournament, the tournament in particular is just. I'm just curious.
I think it's something they do regularly. I don't think from what I understand, they don't do historical matchups in tournaments. They've any tournaments I've looked at that they've done when they've put it in the group. They've always said we need X amount of Allied players, we need X amount of Axis players.
You see, I've always been curious for things like Saga. Would you play, for example, the Vikings against Alexander? Dom, what's your opinion on this?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know Saga well enough, but my understanding of Saga is that it's better played when you stick within the confines of the different period books because they're balanced. And at the end of the day, a competition should be about balance in some way because that's how a competition is played out, right?
Is that how that works in Saga? If you go to a competition, is it just an Age of Vikings?
Well, the way I think they do it, and I've not done one, so forgive me for if I get it wrong, but I think from what I understand from it, they tend to. There's various variants of them. So yes, they will do them just based around a certain book, or what they'll also do is what do they call it now? The Iron Man competitions, where literally any army is there. And it's all set up for you. So you'll go to a table and you'll be playing Mongols against whoever the Mongols are fighting. And then you'll move to a different table and you'd be doing Vikings against Saxons. And then you'd move to another table and literally you move around like that. So I think that's often the way they do it. But I've played bolt action competitions, I wouldn't say they're tournaments, where both things have happened, free for all. So you fight one, I took a German army and I fought against another German army and then an Africa Corps army and then the British army. And it worked absolutely perfectly well. I went to one at Warlords and played, but that was in period. And like Steve's just described, they wanted a certain number of Axis players. They wanted a certain number of Allied players. And it had to be themed around, I think it was the first D-Day book had come out at the time, so it was around. You had to theme it on that, and that actually I really enjoyed that one probably more than the other one because it felt a little bit more realistic in some way. But that Napoleonic competition or event that Tim's organising, I think at Swords and Swords, I believe that is anything goes. So you could end up fighting French on French, I believe. I don't have a problem with that myself. If it's a fun game, I don't have a problem.
Okay. I wouldn't ever play in a tournament, so I don't. I guess I can't really think of a situation where that would ever really come up for me because if I'm playing the Wars of the Roses, most of the time I can't. You know, I'm not really gonna.
Well,
I
the
can't really
roses
think
are
of a
fighting in
situation-
blue on blue anyway, isn't it? Pretty much.
Well,
all the time.
yeah, blue and blue, but also fighting a historical. You know, having my Wars of the Roses army fight the Romans. I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it just because I'd rather, if I'm fighting the Romans, play as the Gauls, or if I'm fighting.
I'm the same. If given the choice, I'll always stick to historical. I mean, not specifically. I mean, I'm not so precious. It have to be in the same month of fighting. So, I mean, I could take, say, if with Bald Saxon, for example, if I want to take a Normandy list, I'd have no problem going up against a Defense of Berlin list, for example. Still late war, still historical opponents, but not 100% accurate in the lists.
So here we go. So does that stretch to like 40k and 30k as well? Will you play your Legions Imperialis loyalists against another loyalist force?
No.
Right, that was quick. All right. Moving on. Mini agnostic. Some find their fun and enjoyment from pursuing realism. I don't find the whole game versus studious pursuit thing that convincing. True. That's what we were saying. We have to as well. Is as soon as you dedicate yourself to something, it takes on a life of its own. Robin. This is the third comment of Robin's we started. It's the same with faces. Stand far enough away to make someone 28mm. Faces are smudge, yet we all paint loads of detail and contrast.
It's very true.
True basement. Here we go. Something sensible. I created my own fictional campaign world for my medieval campaign just to avoid people questioning my uniform choices. That's good. There was a comment earlier about I don't know if it got starred, but basically about creating your own sort of campaigns or sort of set historical based fantasies to that sounds really weird. Let me rephrase that. About creating your own like a fantasy game that's based on historical stuff just to play things out. So a fictional setting, so essentially historical fiction. Grandad said, I've painted Peninsula and included the Scots Greys because basically I don't care.
Fair enough. Entirely reasonable.
The Eccentric Man, what do we think Waller's Acton Panzer is going to be? Okay, yeah, this bit. Is that just going to be a small scale tank game? I think it's going to be a. If I had to say what I think it's going to, I don't know. I think it's going to be a box set, tank on tank, based around the bolt action rules or using the bolt action rules. It might be sort of a step on from Tank Wars. 28mm. Don is using his keen detective skills there.
I think you might be right, Don. Yeah, so because they did oh god, what is it? The computer game version. I used to play it for years. I can't even
World of Tanks.
World of Tanks. So they did that, didn't they? So is it going to be different?
No, that was Battlefront. That was Battlefront.
Oh, was it? Okay. All right. So do you think that was so successful they're launching their own version or something like that?
Because I mean, I got the impression with Tank Wars, I like the concept of Tank Wars, where you use the current bolt action lists and you've got to have certain a number of tanks, command tanks, etc. Whether or not they're expanding on that. Epic tanks. Well, that's an idea. Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, it's a 28mm tank on tank game, loosely bolt action based.
Why?
So that's
is it just 28 so they can mix the ranges, but just with tanks? Like
I don't know.
But is this? I thought I read something about it to do. There was someone talking about licensing in the game. So is it from an existing property?
I don't know. I mean, if it's going to be based around, like James says, it's going to be based around bolt action. It's going to be the draw a dice, have an order. Unless it's going to be something along the lines of What a Tanker by Two Fat Laddies, where that's purely just tank based. Ken's just put there. Might be competition with What a Tanker.
Oh, that's a thought. Yeah, it could be.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see. I mean, they've certainly Warlord have definitely upped their game around social media, haven't they? I mean,
yes,
that came out repeatedly that ad on all their different platforms, on the emails and everything else. They've had Stonard doing his Q&A each week. They're doing more and more of that stuff. They got some retrograde doing Gallic warriors all over the place as well. They're busy. Good
I just realised you're talking about me then. Right then, let's just have a look at a couple more. David said, no, the sheer number of... this is in response to your question. The sheer number of trees at Chancellorsville would take ages to effect. But as a canopy is detachable, it could be added. I kind of feel like you should. Kind of feel like now you said it, you got to do it.
Got to do it.
Got to be done.
Dom happy.
Yeah,
Paul says, played in a bolt action competition where my Russian naval brigade took on a Russian tank force in the jungles of Malaysia. I don't do competitions. That sounded bad.
What?
What was that?
I have got like a 2-foot pile of just boxes next to me. I'm slowly running out of space here. There's everything here. There's Games Workshop stuff, Plastic Soldier Company, Perry's, Bolt Action. What the hell else is down there? Mantic. It just all fell down. There we go.
Right. Unbelievable.
No. Right. Okay. Finally, Craig said, tournaments make things to meta orientated. Sticking to period brings the particulars of each nation and how they fought against each other. That's a very good point.
Very true.
That is a very good point. It might be part of the reason that I don't like playing. Well, I've played in one tournament and that was enough. So yes.
Yeah, but I suppose the thing is, I spent a long time doing 15 mil ancient battles where you literally were fighting so out of period, medievals against biblical armies and stuff like that, and so you just get a bit, you get used to it after a while, but it is an odd thing. But I do think you have to suspend reality with these things. A competition is a competition, and there are different types. There's some really serious ones, the same as there are, I know, in the Games Workshop world, and then there's some that are much more themed or fun or what have you. So you pick your poison, or you just don't bother doing competition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the latest because the books that GW make are nice, like the Middle Earth source, like the Middle Earth books. They are really, really nice books. And they're just releasing a new Horus Heresy one with an escalation campaign in it. All that kind of thing. It's all not that I'm quite happy to sit down and work out my own campaign rules, but it's always just nice to, if someone's done that for you. Tournaments are about playing the rules rather than playing the period. Ooh. Yes,
I don't know. That's always a proper competition. I would agree with you, but I think, as I say, if it's an in-period thing, you can sort of have a bit more of a nuanced game around the different strengths and weaknesses of armies. But I
think as long as everybody knows what type of tournament they're going to, and they know that whoever they play that day is going to be there for the exact reasons they are. They're all there for the it's going to be a purely historical, 100% on the nose historical tournament. And you don't show up with your Vikings in sandwich bags.
no, it'd be leather pouches.
Leather pouches.
A leather pouch. Absolutely. Right then. It's been interesting. I was, like I said, I don't think there was an answer. The whole thing was just entirely created by picky comments. But it's thank you everyone for. It's been a very lively chat, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Should we have a look at some photos? We've got there have been some corkers. Right. Let me scroll up through all of the. Oh, Dom, have you been deleting?
I have, mate. Yeah.
All right.
Sprucing it up for you, so you can find them easier.
Right. Okay. So let's start with Dave. Now, Dave, his was actually based off of the topic. Now, these are buildings that he made from blue foam for his 6 mil game. And I think they're fantastic.
They are brilliant.
I agree.
For 6 mil. And I especially love, if you look at the church, I think it's a church down the bottom here, and he's done the plaque. Look, he's scored the planks in. And
Yeah.
It's a very, very good point because of the scale he's playing at.
I was going to say 6 mil scenery. That works. That works fantastically well. It's just really, it's a fantastic way of doing it as well.
Completely. Yeah, absolutely.
So remember, post your photos up in the Facebook group. They can be scenery, they can be of games. We love seeing pictures of games underway.
Yep.
And of course, it doesn't have to be actually a wargaming figure. They can be busts or 54 mil stuff as well. And remember, you can find the link down below. Craig has been working on some Spanish.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
Stuff. Excellent. I really like the basic.
Did he do the backs of them very well? Because that's all you're ever going to see, though, as they run away.
Oh.
They are
I wondered
beautiful.
what he was saying then. I was wondering what he was saying. I was like, Don, what? Shut up. He's having a go. I was like, Don, don't be. Lovely stuff. Very nice stuff. Connor has been working.
Oh, my Lord. They're good, too.
World War II.
Oh,
like
yes.
Very cool. Look at, I just love how clean they are.
Because these are the
really nice brushwork.
Remember, we showed his Falsimager last week.
Yes.
And he's carried that style over, but they look fantastic.
Very
Top
good.
work.
Very, very nice stuff. Really, really nice. Dan, he's going for it.
Oh, God.
He's going for it. What I love in this photo, obviously, what he's got in the foreground is brilliant. Look off to the left, and you can see all. Are they all the crews?
Yeah.
That are sitting.
Yeah.
Look like it. Yeah.
They're just waiting.
I mean,
They're...
yeah. Just this is his 1-to-1 scale project, isn't he? He's doing every single vehicle from, was it the 27th Panzer Division or something? I mean, what? Yeah.
You're going to be doing some of that, though?
I love it. I love it. Brilliant.
It's very, very cool. Sorry, I'm just balancing a head. Hang on a second.
Balancing a head.
No, this head's just at the wrong angle. This is the strung out dad. Hang on.
Mind you, I love Andy's comment here. Is a DBM competition, I conclusively proved why the Picts never invaded India. They got mullered by the elephants, longbow, and heavy chariots. Good history lesson there, Andy. Well done.
I was going to say the very first Ancients game I ever played, and I don't think it was Ancients, but it was Vikings against Zulus in 6 mil.
Vikings against Zulus. Good God, what kind of competition was that?
It was, and it was just it was our games club. That's the rule system. I remember people giving me suggestions. It might actually have been DBA. People have said from what I've described, it sounds like DBA.
Wow.
Next up. Oh, we have some lovely Republican stuff here from Gaza. And this is a mix of Victrix and Warlord. So
I know why you've chosen that, because of the wiggly base, haven't you? That's why.
You cannot beat a wiggly base. Cannot beat a wiggly base. I still think it's just something weirdly pleasing about it. I don't know why. It's lovely. Lovely stuff. Really, really nice. Because I think that is Mark Antony, I think, or the Mark Antony figure on the left. So really
very
nice.
good.
These might be Aventine, actually. They're Warlord, and they're definitely Warlord, and I can't remember if he said it was Aventine or Victrix. It might be Aventine, actually. Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, I had to put this up. He was playing. So he put together an At the Mountains of Madness themed game. So Lovecraftian horror in Antarctica with Nazis.
Wow.
And big, massive penguins.
Massive penguins. Yeah, go on the Facebook page. Go and have a look at it. It's a cracking looking game. Jonas, he's been working. Now this is funny. So there's his the Cannon Crew, really nice and bold, but he's pixelated the wet palette so as not to upset. I like how he said me. I think it's Ken Riley who's got a. It's not that I don't have an issue with wet palette. I just want people to clean their wet palette. Do you shower? You should clean your wet palette as often as you shower. You should. If you that should be a good rule. Oh, I'm having a shower. Right, I'll clean my wet pad. Just take it in there with you.
Take it in with
there
you.
with you.
Fantastic. I love it.
Take it in there with you. Rules to live
I
by.
love
There you
it.
go.
I love it.
Rules
I
to
love
live
it.
by. That can go on this year's mugs. Justin,
Can I say? I think I've upset Daniel with talking about the Spanish. He's having a little dig. I'm not going on about. I'm just joking. I'm joking. I've got a Spanish army. He does always run away though, so it's just the way it is, really. Carry on.
Robin has said so. Wiggly bases are a yes, but wobbly pikes are a no. That's his takeaway from this week's stream. Absolutely. Where are we? Straight pikes and wiggly bases. Title for the show. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, absolutely. Justin, he did this. So he's working on his ECW stuff. So he just put up his the two figures, and I just really like it when people do that. Really nice stuff. He's a cracking painter.
Good.
Love his stuff.
Such a good painter, isn't he?
Some guy called Ken painted up something that nearly gave me an aneurysm looking at the stripes. I mean, that's
pajama man.
Fantastic work.
I think Ken's actually putting on a game at, on Sunday at York, so I'm hoping to see these in the flesh. It's only taken him 2 years to paint the entire project. I think he says about 950 figures he's painted.
They are seriously good.
Mad. Krista, who, if you remember before, he put up his amazing pictures of his Tyranids. He put these up, these things, and it's just
the bejesus are they?
They kind of do look like they should be living under your bed, don't they? Coming out to see what's going on. But yeah, no, they are cracking. I've dropped a head.
Oh, he's dropped a head.
See, this is what happens when you don't clean your wet palette. They show up.
They come out of your there you go. But no, they are fantastic. Do go and check out his Instagram page. It's Cryokinesis. Go and have a look at it because there is some wicked stuff. Lewis has done. I put these up, so look at these Tyranids, and I like to thank you, Dom. I'd like you to say what they are.
Oh yes, please go on, Dom.
They're Tyranids, mate.
There we go. But it's even we have a Biovore Spore Mines that had a.
Oh, is that the names? Bloody hell!
What did you think that was?
I thought that was a name. So I thought that was Gerald.
They are, yeah. But they are cracking. I really like it when people make them. They look meaty. I like it when they look sort of, because I just Cronenbergy. Very cool. Paul working on more of these, and I love the look of these.
Very nice.
Nice campaign, isn't it? I think.
Very nice, mate. Very nice. You need to take a shot of everything you've done. You've done quite a few bits for this now, haven't you? So you need to do a group shot. Kurt he's done some ogres for Kings of War. I like it. I mean, I assume that's a crossbow on the left.
I thought it was a ballista.
I mean, same thing. Same thing, isn't it?
That is awesome.
Same thing. Phil, I knew you'd like to see. There you go. Cracking.
Oh, very good.
Cracking, lovely stuff. And Stig has finished his 3,000 point Raven Guard force, including Korax.
Korax at the front,
the Primarch. So these are the sneaky ones, but not as sneaky as the other ones that copy you. Anyway, they look cool. I mean, that's a really nice foot. I just like seeing them in their little detachments. That's very, very cool. Very nice stuff. Stuart, he's been quite a bit of ECW on display.
Yeah, lovely drum. Cool. What a lovely drum.
Like a drum. lovely
drum. Very good.
And then Tim off has some lovely Wars of the Roses, and then I did get blamed in the comment section of this one.
Yeah, well,
you always do.
There we go. But yeah, I know, but I really like it. And I do like the fleck of blood here and there. I do like the odd fleck of blood. It's like the polar opposite of what I've done just now with these World Eaters, which is saturate them in it. But then I'm being lore accurate. That's me. But no, very cool, nice and understated. So very, very nice. So there we have it. I think that was
Awesome.
An awfully good evening. Thank you everybody for joining in. Of course, let us just remind you, of course, we have our distinctive service, a 2023 award goes to Don Ayres for supplying alcohol and spending lots of money on miniatures, which may or may not have been the fault of people who run this podcast. And of course, to our 2023 Crackpot of the Year for going above and beyond to attend to take the left flank at Tewkesbury, Matt Mail, and also for obviously being our model of choice for
I think it's probably one of our oldest in terms of longevity viewers, I think.
Yep.
I thought you were just going to say one of our oldest.
One of our oldest. I left it there, Matt. Sorry, mate.
Oh, dude, no, it's quality. But of course, we are incredibly thankful to all of you that take the time to watch this. Remember, you can find details about boards and swords and put PCP5 in your discount box down below. Remember to comment down below for a chance to win this awesome Legions Imperialis Epic Battles in the Age of Darkness starter set. So comment in the comment section of this stream after it's finished. Like we said, only open to people in the UK, or if you can get it sent somewhere in the UK. And we will do the draw next week on Dom's channel. Remember to come and check out the Facebook page. All of our channels and the like, even Ken's is there. And it's still going up in subs.
I know, that's what really annoys me. He's still ahead of me on subs. He hasn't done a video for 2 years.
And of course, as well, if you got in the comments of here, I will leave links to the GoFundMe page for Simon Bite-Size Wargaming's niece and the news story and his video, if you'd like to go and check those out as well. We are back on Dom's channel next week, where we're going to be discussing something
about
who knows?
Wargaming.
Something about Wargaming.
I think it should all be all about Legions Imperialis. 2 hours of Legions Imperialis.
I want to talk about spore mines for 3 hours, please.
Is that something that happens your way?
It is. I'm getting ointment for it. It's fine.
Guys, thank you so much. Remember, just take care of yourselves, and we will see you all again next week. Take care.
Have a good week.
See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.